What's up, guys? Your agent Tyler Wayrung here, and today we're going to talk about something I think is one of the most important things that everyone needs to know and be aware of, and that is the concept of the freedom number. All right, so first today we're going to talk about what the heck is a freedom number, why is it so important, how do you find yours? Everyone's is slightly different, and then how do you build a plan around that and be able to execute against that plan? So with all of that, let's jump in. All right, guys, so first off, what the heck is a freedom number, right? So I'm an Air Force veteran, patriot, all about freedom, so proud to live in this free country, but this concept of freedom is slightly different, of equal importance, but different. All right, so this freedom number is essentially, in a nutshell, what is the amount of money that you need to come in every month to enable you to be free, essentially, from having to do the things you don't want to do, or essentially having to go to work a job that you're not passionate about, that you don't want to be at, or you just particularly don't care for, or you'd rather be doing something different. All right, so there is an amount of money out there that if you could get that amount of money coming in without you having to work, you could still support your needs, still do the things that you want to do, and live life on your terms. So I think it's so important that everyone know what that number is. And the reason that it matters so much is that most people work 40 plus hours every week at a job that they're not necessarily the most passionate for, or I can guarantee you they'd probably rather be doing other things, spending time with family, etc. But they spend all this time away making this amount of money, but they don't really know what the end game is. And I'm a proponent of early retirement, and my personal goal is to get there ASAP. So this concept is very important, and it's on the forefront of my mind every day. But even if you're on the typical journey and you plan to retire at 65, I'll even make the argument it's more important for that group of folks. All right, so if you work your entire working life, you get to 65, and you learn at that point that your freedom number is higher than the amount that you have coming in every month. I mean, I can't really think of a worse scenario to shake out. So even for the folks that are on that plan, you really need to know what this number is. What's this amount of money that you need to live on? All right. Most people are just aware of what they make every year, not the amount of money they actually need to support their lifestyle. Just because you make $50,000 a year doesn't mean you need $50,000 a year to live on. In fact, I think you should be living on less than you make so you have money to invest and do other things with, but that's a topic for another day. But you need to know, all right, what do I spend on groceries? What's my mortgage payment? How much do I need to go out and do the things I want to do, right? You don't need to skim and come up with this lowest number possible, because you're creating this life that you enjoy. I mean, what's the point of quitting working to only live a life of bare minimalism? All right, create this number based on what are the things that you like to do. You don't want to cut out Starbucks, if you love coffee, or don't cut out dinner dates, or make sure you plan for vacations and all the things that you want to do, so you have a comprehensive number that if you got that amount of money coming in every month, you can walk away from your job and live life on your terms. All right, so how do you find this number? If you're lazy like me, you could go out and download an app called Mint, M-I-N-T, mint.com. They have a website, an app. You can plug in all your credit cards, your banking logins, etc., and it'll figure all this out for you. It'll tell you, in the last 12 months on average, you spend X amount of money, and it'll even break it down into categories and give you spend analysis and all this stuff. But the point is, it does it all for you. All right, you don't have to track, every time you get your wallet out or your debit card out. Go to mint.com, plug everything in, and it takes care of everything for you. But essentially, what that app does, it just tracks all of your spending and averages it out. All right, so it'll tell you exactly, you spend this amount of money every month on average, and that is essentially your freedom number. Now, you probably want to buffer that a little bit to give yourself some wiggle room, right? Don't want to skim for the bare minimum. All right, so you found your freedom number, and let's just say it's $5,000 a month. The important thing is that you're aware of it, you monitor it, and you kind of track against it. All right, so what does that mean? First, you're aware of it, and can ask yourself the question I do every day: how do I create $5,000 a month to replace my W-2 income? All right, so that's something I feel like you need to constantly ask yourself and get your brain thinking. Your brain's a powerful engine. You just need to put it to work and think of ideas of how you can create this number. All right, the second thing is to monitor it. I'm sure we've all gotten promotions and raises at some point, and what most people do is just increase their freedom number a little bit more every time they get that raise by something called lifestyle creep. So you get a promotion, you think, all right, you're making $200 extra a month. Why don't we go find another a car payment that's $200 more for a nicer car because you deserve it, right? All right, so that's why you need to be aware of it and track against it. And that last piece is when you start to do these positive things, momentum, you buy a rental property that kicks off 200 bucks a month. All right, now I'm 200 of the way there. I need 4,800 more. How do I get there? And it's important to track and show progress. The brain loves to see progress against a goal. I highly recommend using Excel charts or graphs, anything that motivates you to constantly look at this and be aware of this target that you're shooting for. And lastly, how do you build a plan to get yourself there? So we talked about that just briefly. Most of my audience is real estate investors, and that's my path as well. So I'm always looking for rental properties that kick off a couple $100 a month to help get you there. And for example, if you know that every rental property you buy gives you $200 a month, you can then divide that 200 into your freedom number, into that $5,000, and say, okay, now I need X amount of rental properties to get me to a point where I can retire early or just retire, period. All right, if you're not into real estate, you can do this with a business. This doesn't have to be purely investment. It can be maybe just something you're passionate about. Maybe you love photography or videography. How many clients do I need a month to do something I enjoy doing to cover that? So maybe it's $500 a photo shoot. Maybe I need X amount of photo shoots a month plus, this amount in investment. So basically it's coming up with a plan that fits your risk profile, it fits your passion, and it helps track and get you to your freedom number. If you're going to use the stock market, you want to look at things like dividends and the safe withdrawal rate. I won't get into too much there, and quite frankly, I just don't have a ton of experience there. I dabble in the stock market, but my passion is real estate. But the point is, anything you're passionate about, you can use this concept of the freedom number to know what your end goal is, whether that's in 2 years or when you turn 65. You need to have a good understanding of what the amount of money you need coming in is, where you're going to be, and how soon you want to get there. All right, so I hope this was helpful, guys. If this did help you find your freedom number, drop it in the comments below. All right, declare that out to the world, and hold yourself accountable of what that is. If you have questions around this, drop those in the comments below. But as always, guys, I'd appreciate a like or subscribe. We talk about all things real estate, investing, and personal finance in general. But with that, guys, I'm Tyler Wayrung. We'll catch you next time.